Well, hello again. Our grandkids really love books. They love to read. They love to have people read to them. But when you're far away from them, how can you share in this intimate experience with them? So, I wanted to tell you today about some tips on how to read to your grandkids online. Stay tuned. So, in my last podcast in this mini series, I discussed making videos and video calls for your kids and grandkids and with your grandkids. So, today I want to share how to take a video call to the next level by reading to your grandkids using video. So, once you start regular calls with your kids, you're going to want things to do with them. If your grandkids are like mine, they get bored quickly on the phone, and even a video call seems too short to me. So my wife and I have started to schedule some story time calls with the grands, and it's a veiled attempt, I have to say, to extend the time that we get to be with the grandkids when we're not with them. And it turns out that they love it. So I want to give you these tips. First of all, start with age-appropriate content. It has to be. Reading stories on a big call with all our grands just won't work. We've tried it. The big ones are bored, and the young ones are lost if you try to read to the older ones. So for the young ones, picture books work out to be best. For the ages like 3 to 6, is where we find that they enjoy most, just having a story read to them with pictures. And for the older ones, then you move up to like a chapter book, maybe 6 years old to 12 years old. They'll be engaged while you read for longer periods of time. Of course, if they're younger and then you read to them as well over a long period of time, then you will find that as they get older, they'll want to progress. So you make this transition as they move into the older ages. Second tip is to alternate the gender focus. Boys love trucks, at least our grandkid boys do. But the girls, they like fairy stories. So you alternate the focus. They both like and love, I should say, adventures. So it's not a bad thing to mix up the lead character once in a while in an adventure story and give the girl a lead character and then read the next story with the boy who's the lead character. This seems to help as we move through a week after week of making these calls. Secondly, in the area of focusing on a family, you want to schedule times with maybe one family at a time. We find that big calls you can do occasionally where you gather up the whole family group across different families, but scheduling, especially over different time zones, can become a problem. So, especially since like bedtime really seems to matter to most families, they like to do this reading just before bedtime. So, suggest you focus on one family at a time. And occasionally you can do a joint call, maybe monthly or every 2 or 3 months. We gather our young grands together, and then we'll do like a craft and a snack and a story time. Of course, we have to have help from the parents so that they can get the snack prepared ahead of time, and we'll work out a schedule that works well for our daughters so that they can make this happen. These kids love seeing their cousins and chatting, and they like sharing what the artwork is that they're doing with one another. So if we'll put a craft together and we'll have them all working on it, and then they'll be holding it up in Zoom works really well when you're trying to do this in a multi-group setting. You can check out my other podcast for more information about video calls to get the scoop on how that works. Finally, and I'm going to state the obvious, when you're reading to your kids, you have to hold up the pictures and show them what as you're reading from time to time. This is how you keep them engaged. So we've seen kids extremely engaged, and it works very well, and it's worth trying with your grandkids. So for an extra bonus, and for those of you that are willing to go down into the weeds, I recognize fully that this is a little complicated, and you may just want to consider looking into and doing research. This is going to be a little bit of an advanced lesson on a subject that I found so helpful when we were doing these video calls with our kids, and it's worth checking out if you're willing to give it a go. Apple calls a new feature that they built into their phones, and they built it together with their Mac computer called Continuity Camera. And it lets you use your iPhone as your web camera. And so therefore the camera that's on your laptop is not used anymore, but the camera that's on your phone will actually be used. And when you do this, you can unlock some unique features for video calls. So the feature that I'm using, and which I'm telling you about today, is something called Desk View. Desk View. And it mimics an overhead camera. So if you imagine having a camera that points down at your keyboard and those things that are in front of you to show a top-down view of your desk. And I have a picture of what that looks like, so I'll put that in here. You'll need a gadget that's something of a phone holder to do this. So think tripod or camera stand, that will do. Or if you want to buy a gadget like this one, it's a continuity camera mount. And I'll include a link to this device in the show notes so you can see there's plenty of them out there. So don't feel like you have to buy this one or anything. But it connects to the back of your phone in a MagSafe. They call it MagSafe, though the phone has now a magnetic support behind it. And so then you take that and you turn it around and you set it on the top of your video monitor on your laptop so that the camera of your phone points towards you. And this way now the computer can use that camera as a way to view you. And so then the way you use it is in the app's menu bar or settings. You're going to choose your iPhone as the camera to use in your next video call. And so you select your phone, and you'll see this in the menu where it says view or camera, and you pick camera, and then down below that it will show you your phone as one of your choices. It has to be close to your computer at the time, so set it up first, and then you can turn on the camera from your phone. And so then the continuity app opens and your iPhone begins to capture the video from your phone. So then when you're in you open the FaceTime app on your computer and you start your video call, and when you're in the video call you click the Desk View button. It's in the top right corner of the video window, and you'll see a view that looks something like this, where when your book is open, you can turn the pages and show the pictures without having to hold the book up at all. So that's kind of helpful, and I find it works really, really well for the kids if you can get it working. As a side note, you can use this same Desk View in order to show other things like crafts or coins or models. The possibilities are really endless. So I hope you give that a try, or at least do a little research on it, because I think you'll find it helpful. At the very least, it works very well to just hold up a picture book and show. You can see the pictures as you go along, and the kids will enjoy it very much. My granddaughters love Peppa Pig, and both my grandsons and granddaughters love Lyle Crocodile. So those are a couple of books that you can check out. In addition, I would say graphic novels are a hot item these days. They're pictures that have lots and lots of little captions, sort of like a comic book, and that's what kids love to read today. We haven't tried that together with the kids, but it's one that may consider it. This one's called the Action Bible. If you want to progress into chapter books, one of the things that we have found, which is really, really good, is a series by C.S. Lewis called Chronicles of Narnia. And so there's a book that comes in multiple books, so you can work your way through that series if you want to give that a try for the older kids. Anyway, I hope you find this helpful, and we look forward to talking to you on our next call. Remember to subscribe and pass this on to a friend or like it. All of those help us to get the word out, and stay tuned for the next video in the series called Online Games, where I'll share with you some of the tips we found for connecting with our grandkids in games. Thanks for joining. Take care.